Thanks for joining us again this week for another episode of Camp, a podcast on all things automation. I'm Amy Wooldridge, VP of Operations and Customer Success. Today, I'd like to revisit the topic of how to prepare for automation success. You may remember several episodes back where we touched on this topic previously. My teammate, Gretchen, walked you through some things to consider as your team, your department, or organization is setting up for an automation project. But allow me to take a few minutes today to walk you through a few assumptions we sometimes encounter during our work with customers. Being aware of these three frequent assumptions will help guide you through your automation selection process. Number one, your RPA vendor may not be able to fix your process as part of the development phase. In order to set up an efficient RPA project, it is important to clarify the expectations you have of your selected RPA vendor. Once we start scoping and developing a process, we assume you are presenting us with a fully formed process and one you simply want us to automate. That being said, if you suspect that your process is not optimal or fully formed, nor are you confident that it needs automating, there are a couple of options that can be used to help you reveal efficiencies and/or confirm which processes are ripe for automation. One being the utilization of task mining, and the other being to engage the help of a business analyst. We'll dive deeper into those tools in another episode. The bottom line is we can certainly automate your mundane manual tasks, but if you need help with analyzing and optimizing the process in question, please understand this will delay the project and know there are other tools available to you to help you do this effectively in the early stages of the engagement. It is recommended to discuss this much earlier with your sales representative or the project manager. Number two, RPA developers and project managers are likely not trained in the process you have asked us to automate. I have the distinct pleasure of working closely with our developers on projects, and I believe them to be some of the smartest, most problem-solving oriented people I know. And I like to think of them as super generalists because of all the systems and processes they are exposed to and have to become intimately familiar with because of the automation work they do. But please understand there is no way they can possibly know all the ins and outs of every system or database they are interfacing with to build an automation. Our developers and project managers lean heavily on the process owners and subject matter experts, or SMEs, to guide us through all the relevant nuances and variances of a process and their associated systems. While we may be the experts in knowing how to automate something, your SMEs and project leads are the experts in the process and systems that are being utilized for the automation. Number three, your RPA project team may need to scope multiple times throughout the duration of the project. While it is not necessarily the norm, it is sometimes necessary to scope a process multiple times, even well into the development phase of a project. As I indicated just a few moments ago, we rely on you or your process expert to know the variances and nuances of a process. So if, for example, during development or even in testing, if we see a pop-up window or a screen that we have not encountered before, we may need to see that portion of the process in detail or in another scope call to understand how it fits within the larger picture of the process. When we're preparing our customer team for walking us through a scope call, we like to use the analogy of training a new employee. A scope call is very similar to training a new team member who will be responsible for the process we are automating. You assume the new employee doesn't necessarily know what they don't know, especially if they've never used the system before. Therefore, as the person who is responsible for onboarding the new employee, you plan to show them all aspects of the process and all of the possible variations and the different outputs they may deliver. While your managed services team may be brilliant, they aren't likely able to read your minds or create magic, especially if they don't have all of the pertinent information to automate the process. So lean on us to be the experts on how to automate your process and listen to us about what we need to be successful in that effort. And we'll lean on you to be the experts on your payment posting process, for example. I hope I've been able to shed some light on what is needed for setting up for automation success. We are always happy to chat with you about helping to prepare you for your automation journey. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. Until next time, see you later.